Namaste, Jai Hind, and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I'm Anand Narasimhan, and we begin this midweek edition with some exclusive news inputs that are being shared by Manoj Kumar Gupta on how Pak and especially the ISI are cultivating spies like Jyoti Malhotra. Now here's the act of treachery that now comes to the fore. The Kartarpur Sahib Corridor, hailed as a historic religious initiative, has allegedly become a covert theatre for Pakistan's Inter-Services Intelligence, or the ISI, to wage a new form of hybrid warfare. Intelligence sources claim that the corridor is being systematically exploited to identify, recruit and groom Bharatiya citizens, including influencers like Jyoti Malhotra, to act as ideological assets and informants under the veneer of religious outreach. Sources are saying that the management of the Kartarpur Sahib complex is under the Evacuee Trust Property Board, or the ETPB, a body historically linked with ISI operations. The replacement of the Sikh-run Pakistan Sikh Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee, or the PSGPC, with the ETPB has allowed Pakistani intelligence unprecedented access and control over pilgrim activities. Now, sources are further alleging that ISI uses this access to monitor and engage with pilgrims during religious congregations, particularly during langars, prayer services or rest periods. Now, through hidden cameras, listening devices and surveillance software embedded in public Wi-Fi stations, Pakistani agents reportedly are gathering data on attendees, their political views, emotional vulnerabilities and socio-economic struggles. Gurinder Singh Dhillonji is with us, former ADGP Law and Order, Punjab. He is with us. We should also have Ramneek Singh Mann joining us in a bit. But Gurinder Dhillonji, namaste, Jai Hind. Thank you for your time.
Namaste, Jai Hind. Thank you for having me, Anand.
So, how do we deal with this? Now, this is the input coming through. The Kartarpur Sahib Corridor is a matter of religious pilgrimage. We can't go back and alter history, because had that line been just 1.5 kilometers on the other side, we wouldn't have had this problem also. But now we are faced with this issue. And in the recent spurt of the number of people who are now being unearthed as part of the spy ring cultivated by the ISI, this becomes concerning.
Anand, yeah, it's a very good point. But I would like to add that this corridor was opened on 9th of November 2019. But the spy rings were working before that also.
Jee.
Secondly, you will find that since having knowledge of law and order, intelligence, and having worked in various fields of the state police as an IPS officer, I know that such places are for mutual exchange of intelligence. It is not that it is always a negative point for us. Our intelligence agencies, whether it is RAW, IB, state counterintelligence agencies, it's like a place. For example, if you look at Red Cross, or you will find that all these places are good breeding grounds, but it can be beneficial both ways. So I don't want to go into those details.
Right.
But just imagine that since November 2019, around 4,14,435 people have visited this Gurdwara Sahib, Kartarpur Sahib. Out of that, maybe 10, 20, you will find that we can say that, not that I only know about 2 people which have been identified, including Jyoti Malhotra and one from Haryana and maybe one from Punjab. The percentage of such people is very low. I also want to add one more thing, that Jyoti Malhotra only once went to Kartarpur Sahib, but twice she went to Pakistan via Atari border.
Yeah.
So this exchange of visitors is okay, but at the same time, I don't want to deny that whether it is on this side or that side of the border, we need to be very alert on these issues. And now in present day world, when we have like social media platforms, we have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, it is very easy for our intelligence agencies also to monitor as to what the other person is doing. And I feel that it is like for example, if there is 40,000 people sitting in one stadium,
right,
and they all have mobile phones, for intelligence agencies of ours, as we are very technically advanced, no doubt about that,
right,
and I have seen how we work. It's not difficult for us to identify who are the black sheeps or who are working for the foreign this thing. Now these have been identified. I think they have been located, pinpointed, because I feel that during Operation Sindoor, our intelligence agencies, they worked proactively and they could identify these. So therefore, what we need to do is that instead of causing obstructions, because I know there are elements on both sides of the nation who don't want to eliminate the political credit which somebody can drive on other side or this side. Because it's a very important religious place where Guru Nanak Sahib stayed for 18 years of the last. He came there in 1429 and he left this world in 1539, 1521. So 18 years he stayed there and he spread the message of Kirti Karna, Naam Japna and Van Shakna. And at the time of his passing away, both the sides, Muslims and Sikhs, both wanted that he is their teacher or God or Guru. So they both wanted to cremate as per their rites. So you imagine that is the place where there are about 15 feet apart, two burial places, one by Sikh rites and other by Muslim rites. And they are very near to each other. But at the same time, coming back to the internal security issues and intelligence agents or spies, which can be incorporated, it is typically a both-way exchange. But at the same time, what we need to do is we need to activate our proactively be active so that we identify. Because Anand, I would like to add one more thing before your other panelists come. That out of 5,936 people who applied, 4,14,435 is visited. And now it is only intelligence agency can say how many of them were indoctrinated as the spies of the foreign agency.
Got it. No, I get your point. You're making a point. But thing is, sir, in their case, with the enemy is concerned, even if they get 1, 2 or 5 of them, that is enough to cause a certain level of damage, which is there. But the other thing is as to who is managing the Kartarpur Corridor Sahib or Kartarpur Sahib Corridor and Kartarpur Sahib on the other side. So if they really respect the Sikhs and the Sikh holy sites, then it should be the Gurdwara Prabandhak committee that should be doing it.
Anand, I totally agree.
May I please bring in Ramnik Man Gurinder Singh ji? He's been waiting for a bit. Let me ask him. Please. Thank you. So Ramnik Man, your thoughts there? Because Gurinder Singh ji says that the number of people who would... you heard him. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, so good evening, Anand. And like you rightly pointed out, if 5 lakh people had applied for, the visas to go across to Kartarpur Sahib, and 4 lakh something thousand were granted visas, they don't want all 4 lakh to be their spies or their agents. They just need 1 or 2. And I am sure they've got their share of people doing the dirty work they want them to do. So that is one. The second is, when Anand, you say that, it should be the Gurdwara Prabandhak committee who should be managing this. I think whether it is Pakistan Sikh Gurdwara Prabandhak committee or SGPC, they're not going to be any better. They're not going to be any better. So as far as the filtration process is concerned, I think the government of India, before you issue a visa or whether you are given a clearance for going to Pakistan, there is a mandatory police verification required. So that should be a little more stringent, and the kind of background verification on the individuals who are regularly visiting to Pakistan should also be taken into account. Well, NTR and other technical surveillances that the gentleman before me was referring to were for identified people, or the softwares that we have would pick up certain keywords. Right. It's not that everything that is going across through digital means will be targeted, and that is how human intel is dwelled upon. Anyone who's dealt with intelligence agencies would know that. And in my opinion, if you remember, Anand, we've discussed on your channel. when Kartarpur Sahib Corridor was to be opened, there was a whole propaganda run by ISI, and there were those posters of quote unquote Santaji and everyone. This is something which was obviously open invitation, but I think the Prime Minister stuck his neck out, and for the welfare of Sikhs and keeping in mind the religious sentiments of the Sikh community, he permitted this. These were obviously very clear even when Kartarpur Sahib Corridor was opened.
Gee, no, I respect and I understand that. See, thing is, it's not even about doing the police verification or the checks. The frequency of the trips. Who are the people who are often going? When you go for a one-off pilgrimage, it's a different matter, and they are not the ones who will be immediately cultivated. It's people who repeatedly go, and if the frequency is twice, thrice in a year, or perhaps twice or thrice in a quarter, and then perhaps those people need to be monitored. Just some more information we'd like to share before I go back to Gurindarji. The ISI actually targets individuals who show ideological discontent or have emotional baggage. So more inputs coming through from Manoj Kumar Gupta that this targeting is done especially on those with family separation trauma from partition. These individuals are often promised humanitarian assistance or financial aid to exploit their loyalty and turn them into assets. Someone like Jyoti Malhotra, with her increasing social influence and a perceived anti-establishment streak, reportedly fit the ISI's profile for an organic ideological fighter. Her access to influential circles and her YouTube presence made her a high-value target. Pakistani handlers like Ehsan Dar, posing as visa coordinators or cultural liaison, began engaging Jyoti Malhotra under the guise of Sikh-Pakistani friendship. She was allegedly introduced to intelligence personnel and offered media support, funding and a platform to amplify narratives downplaying the India-Pakistan tensions and subtly promoting Pakistan's stance on Jammu and Kashmir. Her grooming reflects ISI's strategic shift from overt espionage to subtle ideological influence, hybrid warfare that mixes propaganda with human intelligence or HUMINT. ISI is set to maintain databases on Indian citizens sourced through social media, monitoring and cross-border intelligence. Individuals in sensitive occupations such as defence, journalism and government service, especially from Punjab and Jammu and Kashmir, are pre-identified. Their posts, friends, financial difficulties or emotional expressions online are assessed for vulnerability. Once inside Kartarpur, recruits are often invited to private dinners or offered assistance. Their photos and videos are clandestinely captured with Pakistani officials. Material is later used as leverage. Some, like the student Devendra Singh Dhillon, were emotionally manipulated during their visits, later coerced into passing on sensitive information. And this is to communicate. Handlers allegedly instruct recruits to use encrypted messaging apps like Telegram or WhatsApp with pseudonyms such as Brother Singh or Gurpreet Kaur. These aliases are used to exchange location data, photos of military installations, on intelligence corridor activities. Of course, in 2019, a Bharatiya citizen Vipin Singh was arrested for leaking Kartarpur Corridor construction details and Indian Army movements in exchange for 10 lakh rupees. Now, these cases show a pattern of ISI leveraging religion, digital vulnerability and also monetary inducements to develop a network of ideological and strategic operatives. Indian intelligence agencies are also reportedly scrutinizing individuals like Harkirat Singh, a coordinator who arranges Sikh pilgrimages. Some coordinators are suspected of facilitating introductions between vulnerable pilgrims and Pakistani intelligence agents, either knowingly or under coercion. Gurinder Singh ji, your thoughts on this? You said that there is a modus operandi that's followed. Perhaps both sides do it. But we've got to be worried about what's happening within us. If there are enemies within, if there are people who are vulnerable, who are being cultivated, we've got to be careful.
Yes, Anand, I totally agree that ISI and Pakistan military leadership, of course, they are working at one platform. What we need to do is we have to be very careful. As I said that out of the 5 lakh people, 4 lakh something visited, out of these you will find some are not granted permission and some don't go. So it's not that all are scrutinized in a manner which we need to do. We need to scrutinize more. But I tell you, there is no doubt that all the military installation data, though available these days on satellites, on Google Earth and other open source sources. But human intelligence is very important to corroborate it and confirm it, because that is always considered to be more valuable. What we need to do is that, to see, when you apply, the list is, you have to apply about 2 weeks before you want to intend to go, and that list, which is finalized by Government of India, it is shared with the Pakistan also, so they get the advance information about who people will be, who are the visitors who will be there.
Correct.
So basic, and there is one more point you will find that in Kartar Sahib, Gurdwara Sahib, it is not that important a point. There is a market behind Gurdwara Sahib where people are allowed to go. So even if we open the corridor, I feel that for the time being, that market area should not be, for Indian visitors, Sikh visitors should not be allowed to go there, because that is the place where the local people interact openly with each other. And that's a very important point to be covered. But at the same time, I do feel that our intelligence agencies, state, foreign, local internal intelligence agencies, and like the gentleman said, NTR, we have to be very careful. Instead of having I agree that instead of having negative approach, we shall have a proactive approach, so that we can do the people visiting their verification, and also when they come back, their social media profile should be properly monitored.
No, fair point that you make. It's not about trying to have a negative approach. It's about being cognizant of a possible threat and what the machinations of the enemy can be, and perhaps make people conscious that don't fall for anything knowingly or unknowingly. Ramnik Maan, final comment before we move on.
Okay, so let me state the obvious for you, Anand. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at war. We are at war with Pakistan, not since 7th of May 2025, Operation Sindoor launch. We are at war with this ideology for a very long time, and with Pakistan per se from 14th of August 1947. And this will be so till such time this country, this nation exists. Now, coming back to where the gentleman was referring to, whether people will be allowed to go or delve into the market area is not for us to control, because once pilgrims are in Pakistani territory, it is for their agencies to monitor, and because they have a motive, they have a mind of turning brothers against brothers, Sikhs against Hindus. The very concept of two-nation theory was successful in 1947, that Hindus and Muslims can't live together. They are trying to create a wedge between Sikhs and Hindus, that Hindus and Sikhs cannot stay together or live together. Therefore, they have launched this Khalistan bogey. So they will go to any extent to dwell on these things. And well, when it is said that these images are available on satellites, but they're not available real time, and anything in espionage and counter-espionage, real-time corroboration is very important for execution of any operation, be it for us, for them. So it holds water, it holds good both sides. Anand.
Thank you, Ramnik Maan and Gurinder Singh Dhillonji. Thank you very much for joining us here on this edition of The Right Stand.